Within the next few moments, you will understand why your spirit has felt restless lately. I did not bring you here by accident. I brought you here because heaven is making a final attempt to reach your heart. Do not ignore this message. I am speaking with urgency because the door that has remained open for you is beginning to close. Hear me now before the silence becomes permanent. You asked me for sign, and this is it. But understand this carefully. Signs are gifts, not guarantees. Many heard my voice before you, yet they lost everything because they waited too long. I have watched you delay, question, and hesitate while pretending everything is fine. But today I will speak plainly. If you walk away from this message, you may walk away from the very thing meant to save you. This is not motivation. This is not coincidence. This is a divine interruption. I am warning you because I still love you, but I will not force you to listen forever. The reason your heart suddenly became heavy before hearing this message is because your spirit already knows this is serious. I am giving you one final moment to respond before everything changes. My beloved child, you have been feeling something lately that you cannot fully explain. Even in moments when you tried to distract yourself, even when you laughed around other people, even when you convinced yourself that everything was normal, there was still a heaviness sitting quietly inside your spirit. There were nights when your mind would not rest. There were moments when silence became uncomfortable because deep inside you knew I was trying to speak. You kept searching for peace in places that could never heal you. You kept telling yourself that tomorrow would be the day you finally changed, the day you finally listened, the day you finally surrendered completely. But tomorrow kept moving further away while your heart slowly grew tired. I watched you carry wounds you never healed from. I watched you hide your fear behind fake strength. I watched you smile while secretly feeling empty inside. And still, even after all your delays, I remain near you. Do you truly understand how many times I protected you when you did not even realize danger was near? There were moments when your life could have completely fallen apart, yet my hand covered you. There were relationships that would have destroyed your future if I had not removed them. There were traps prepared against you that never succeeded because my mercy stood in the way. You thought some closed doors were punishments, but many of them were rescue missions. You cried over people who were never meant to stay. You begged for things that would have broken you if you received them too early. Yet even after all of this, you continued drifting further from me while still expecting my voice to remain loud forever. My child, hear me carefully now because this is serious. The greatest danger is not paying. The greatest danger is becoming so spiritually numb that my voice no longer moves your heart. That is what has been happening slowly within you. Little by little, distraction replaced prayer. Noise replaced stillness. Entertainment replaced intimacy with me. You learned how to survive without truly depending on me, and that frightened heaven more than you realize. Because when a soul becomes comfortable living without my presence, darkness no longer needs to fight hard to destroy it. The enemy knows that a distracted heart eventually becomes a distant heart. That is why your life has felt spiritually dry lately. It is not because I abandoned you. It is because you kept feeding your flesh while starving your spirit. I know the secret battles you never speak about. I know the addictions, the compromises, the hidden fears, the bitterness, the exhaustion, the jealousy, the anger you keep buried deep inside. I know how many times conviction touched your heart, and you ignored it because changing felt uncomfortable. I know how many times you said, "Later," but my child, later is not promised to anyone. You still believe there will always be another opportunity to return fully to me. But many souls believe the same thing before losing themselves completely. Time is moving faster than you understand. Spiritual doors do not remain open forever. You wonder why your heart suddenly feels shaken hearing these words. It is because your spirit recognizes my voice. Deep down, you know this message is not ordinary. You know I am confronting the parts of you that nobody else sees. And I am doing this because I still love you. If I truly wanted to leave you alone, I would remain silent. The warning itself is proof of my mercy. The conviction you feel right now is proof that I have not abandoned you yet. But do not mistake mercy for permission to continue delaying. There comes a moment when repeated resistance hardens the heart so deeply that a person can sit in front of truth and feel nothing anymore. That is the silence I am warning you about. My beloved child, I never created you to live this disconnected from me. I formed you with purpose before you were even born. There is a calling over your life that the enemy has been trying desperately to bury beneath fear, confusion, shame, and distraction. The battles around you became intense because your future carries weight. Darkness attacks when frenzied, and you have been threatening darkness since the day I breathed life into you. But instead of stepping boldly into your purpose, you allowed fear to convince you that you were unworthy, too broken, too late, or too weak. Those lies kept you chained while years quietly slipped away. Say I'm walking boldly in my calling if you're embracing his assignment. I need you to understand something clearly now. Your biggest battle is no longer external. It is internal. It is the war between obedience and comfort. One part of you wants to fully surrender to me, but another part keeps clinging to old habits, old relationships, old mindsets, and old versions of yourself. You keep asking me to change your life while refusing to release the things poisoning your spirit. But I cannot bless what you continue protecting above me. Some things in your life must die so your soul can finally live again. The restlessness you have been feeling is not anxiety alone. It is spiritual tension. Heaven has been pulling on your spirit because the path you are currently walking cannot continue forever. You feel exhausted because your soul was never designed to carry life without closeness to me. You were created for communion with me. That emptiness inside you cannot be healed by money, relationships, success, attention, or temporary pleasure. It can only be healed by my presence. Yet you keep searching everywhere except the place where true peace exists. Listen to me now. Stop pretending you are fine when your spirit is starving. Stop acting strong while I'm secretly falling apart inside. Stop running from the very thing that can heal you. I am not asking for perfection. I am asking for surrender. I am asking you to finally become honest with me about who you have become and who you are afraid of becoming if you continue down this path. Because the truth is this, you already feel the distance growing. You already feel how difficult it has become to pray sincerely. You already notice how easily distraction controls your attention. These are warning signs, my child. Do not ignore them. I know you are tired. I know you are wounded. I know some people hurt you so deeply that trusting again feels impossible. I know disappointment made you cold in places where your heart once felt alive. But do not allow pain to separate you from me. The enemy wants your wounds to become walls. He wants your disappointment to become rebellion. He wants your delay to become destruction. And that is why I interrupted your life today with this message. Because I refuse to watch you slowly lose yourself without warning you first. There are blessings waiting for you that you cannot even imagine yet. There's peace waiting for you. There is healing waiting for you. There is freedom waiting for you. There is purpose waiting for you. But none of it can be fully received while you continue resisting my voice. Obedience opens doors that fear keeps locked. Surrender releases miracles that pride keeps delayed. And the future I prepared for you still exists. But you must decide whether you truly want it more than your comfort. Do not wait until pain forces you to seek me again. Do not wait until everything collapses before realizing how much you need my presence. Learn from those who waited too long. Learn from those who ignored every warning until heaven became silent. Because when my voice grows quiet, confusion grows louder, fear grows stronger, discernment weakens, darkness becomes easier to tolerate. That is not the future I desire for you. So hear me now, my beloved child. This is your moment to return fully. Not halfway, not emotionally for one night. Completely. Lay down the pride. Lay down the excuses. Lay down the secret sins, the hidden bitterness, the constant delays, and the exhausting pretending. Come back to me with honesty. Come back to me while your heart can still recognize my voice. Come and thank you for being so close, Lord, if He's been your constant companion. Because I am speaking now with love, with urgency, and with mercy. But my child, my voice is a gift, not a guarantee. And this moment standing before you right now may become the turning point you remember for the rest of your life. My beloved child, stop for a moment and listen carefully to me. Do not rush past these words. Do not treat this like another ordinary message that appears for a moment and disappears into the noise of your day. This is not random. This is not coincidence. Before this very day arrived, before you woke up this morning, before your mind became crowded with responsibilities, distractions, worries, and unanswered questions, I already knew this moment would come. I prepared these words specifically for you long before you ever pressed play, long before your eyes ever landed here. Heaven has been watching you closely, and I need you to understand the seriousness of what is happening right now. I am interrupting your routine because your soul has been drifting farther than you realize. I am speaking now because if I remain silent any longer, the distance growing inside your spirit would become dangerous. My child, you keep calling your exhaustion stress, but much of what you are feeling is spiritual emptiness. You keep calling your confusion bad days, but your spirit has been crying out for my presence while you tried to silence it with distractions. You feel restless because deep down you know something is wrong. There is a heaviness inside you that sleep cannot fix. There is a dryness inside you that entertainment cannot remove. There is an ache in your soul that no person can heal. And still, you keep trying to move forward as if everything is normal. But I see beyond the mask you wear in front of others. I see the hidden sadness you bury beneath your smiles. I see the moments when fear grips your thoughts late at night. I see the questions you are too afraid to speak aloud. I see the war happening quietly inside your mind while everyone around you assumes you are fine. That is why I have come to you with urgency today. Not tomorrow. Not later. Now. Because you are standing closer to a spiritual crossroads than you realize. There are moments in life when heaven whispers gently, and there are moments when heaven speaks with urgency because time is running shorter than the person understands. This is one of those moments. You have ignored many warnings before this, You felt conviction and pushed it away. You sensed me pulling on your heart, but you distracted yourself instead of listening. You promised you would change someday, yet someday kept moving further away while your spirit slowly grew weaker. But I am telling you now, my beloved child, you cannot continue living disconnected from me without consequences. A soul cannot survive long without intimacy with its creator. You remember the moments when you suddenly felt emotional for no reason. The moments when tears almost came to your eyes even though you could not explain why. The moments when your chest felt heavy while sitting alone in silence. Those were not accidents. That was me trying to reach your heart. That was my spirit calling you back before the distance became greater. I have been speaking to you through closed doors, through delays, through heartbreaks, through sleepless nights, through disappointment, through the strange emptiness that nothing in this world seems able to satisfy. But instead of slowing down to hear me clearly, you kept running deeper into distraction. You kept filling your life with noise because silence made you uncomfortable. And silence made you uncomfortable because deep inside, your spirit already knew I was waiting there. My child, hear me carefully now because what I am about to say carries eternal weight. My voice is a gift. It is not something to be assumed forever. Many people believe they will always feel conviction, always hear my warnings, always sense my presence calling them back. But that is not true. There comes a point when repeated resistance hardens the heart. There comes a point when a person ignores my voice so often that eventually they no longer recognize it clearly anymore. That is the silence I am warning you about. Not because I stopped being God, not because I stopped loving, but because people can become so spiritually numb that they no longer respond even when heaven speaks directly to them. And my child, I do not want that to happen to you. You have no idea how many times my mercy protected you while you continued drifting away from me. There were moments when destruction almost entered your life, yet I stood in the way. There were relationships that could have ruined your future, but I removed them before they fully destroyed you. There were hidden dangers surrounding you that you never even saw because my hand covered you. Even now, you are more protected than you realize. But protection should lead a soul closer to me, not further away. Mercy should awaken gratitude, not complacency. Yet you slowly became comfortable receiving my blessings while neglecting my presence. I know this message feels heavy, but it needs to feel heavy because your situation is serious. Your spirit had been falling asleep while your flesh became louder. Distraction became your escape. Temporary pleasure became your comfort. You learned how to survive externally while your inner life quietly deteriorated. And because others still see you functioning, smiling, posting, talking, and continuing daily life, they assume you are spiritually healthy. But I see the truth hidden underneath everything. I see how tired your soul has become. I see how difficult it has become for you to genuinely pray. I see how quickly your attention leaves me now. I see how your hunger for spiritual things weakened while worldly distractions gained stronger control over your mind. My beloved child, this is why I interrupted your ordinary day. Because heaven refuses to watch you slowly destroy yourself without one final warning. This message was not placed in front of you by accident. I arranged this moment intentionally because your spirit needed to hear my voice before the silence growing around you becomes permanent. You still think you have endless time to fully surrender. You still think there will always be another opportunity to return deeply to me later. But later is one of the greatest illusions destroying souls. Later has stolen years from you already. later as delayed obedience, healing, peace, and restoration. Later has become the hiding place for fear, pride, compromise, and spiritual laziness. But I am calling you now, not when you feel emotionally ready, not when life becomes easier, not after you fix yourself first. I am calling you now exactly as you are. Broken, confused, exhausted, distracted, wounded, uncertain. Bring all of it to me. Stop pretending you are stronger than you truly are. Stop acting like your spirit is healthy when you know something inside you has been starving for a long time. Stop pushing away conviction every time it touches your heart. Because the more you resist my voice, the easier it becomes to ignore me next time. And eventually, some people reach a place where they no longer feel conviction at all. They continue living, breathing, smiling, laughing, and functioning while spiritually becoming completely disconnected from me. That is not the future I desire for you. You were created for intimacy with me. Before you were born, I formed purpose over your life. I placed gifts inside your spirit that the enemy has spent years trying to bury beneath shame, distraction, fear, and compromise. The reason spiritual warfare increased around your life is because your future carries significance. Darkness attacks when frenzied, and your obedience threatens darkness more than you understand. That is why the enemy constantly fights for your attention. Because if he can keep you distracted, he can keep you distant. And if he keeps you distant long enough, eventually your spiritual sensitivity begins fading away little by little. My child, this is your wake-up call. This is the moment where you must decide whether you will continue drifting or finally return fully to me. I am not asking for perfection. I am asking for surrender. I am asking you to stop delaying what your spirit already knows must happen. You already know which habits are destroying your peace. You already know which relationships are poisoning your spirit. You already know which compromises are slowly pulling you further away from me. Stop pretending confusion is the problem when disobedience is the real issue. And still, even now, my love for you remains strong. Write your mercy, never let me go if his kindness held you up. Do not mistake this warning as rejection. I am speaking urgently because I still want you close to me. If I had truly abandoned you, I would leave you alone without conviction. The fact that your heart feels shaken right now is proof that my spirit is still reaching for you. The tears forming in your eyes, the heaviness in your chest, the discomfort you feel deep inside, these are signs that heaven is still fighting for your soul. But you must respond while your heart can still hear me clearly. So stop running, my beloved child. Stop numbing your spirit. Stop delaying your return. Let this be the moment everything changes. Let this be the day you stop treating my voice casually. Because my voice is not guaranteed forever. And this message standing before you right now may become the most important warning you ever receive in your entire life. My beloved child, before you tell yourself that I have been silent, before you convince yourself that I abandoned you or forgot your cries, I need you to look back carefully over the journey you have walked. Look beyond the surface of your memories and see the truth you kept missing. I have been speaking to you far more than you realize. My voice has followed you through every season, every heartbreak, every delay, every warning, every restless night, every moment when your spirit suddenly felt uneasy without explanation. There has never been a moment where I completely stopped reaching for you. Even when you wandered far from me, even when you ignored conviction, even when you buried your emotions beneath distractions and temporary pleasures, I continued speaking because my love for you remained greater than your resistance. Do you remember those moments when something inside you suddenly told you not to go a certain direction? The strange discomfort you felt around certain people? The uneasiness that entered your spirit before certain decisions? That was me. I was trying to guide you before pain became your teacher. I whispered caution into your heart many times, but you called it overthinking. You sensed my warning, but because your emotions wanted something different, you silenced the conviction instead of obeying it. Then later, when the consequences arrived, you asked me why the pain happened, forgetting that heaven had already tried to protect you beforehand. I spoke through closed doors that frustrated you. I spoke through opportunities that suddenly disappeared. I spoke through delays that made no sense to your human understanding. There were moments you cried because things did not work out the way you wanted, but you did not realize I was saving you from futures that would have broken your spirit completely. Some people you begged to keep in your life were assignments of destruction disguised as comfort. Some paths you desperately wanted to walk would have led you further away from your purpose. Yet instead of trusting me, you allowed disappointment to turn into bitterness. You accused silence while ignoring the protection hidden inside the delay. My child, I even spoke to you through your pain. Not because I enjoy watching you suffer, but because your heart became harder to reach through gentleness alone. There were seasons when life suddenly became heavy, when confusion increased, when everything around you felt unstable. You thought I was punishing you, but many of those storms were mercy trying to wake you before it became too late. Pain became loud because you stopped listening to whispers. I never wanted suffering to be the thing that forced you back toward me, but your distractions became stronger than your discernment. Your flesh became louder than your spirit. And still, even then, I remained patient with you. How many nights did you lay awake feeling an emptiness you could not explain? How many times did tears fill your eyes while you stared into the darkness, wondering why your soul felt so exhausted? You blamed stress. You blamed people. You blamed circumstances. But deep down, your spirit recognized the truth. You were drifting away from me. The further you moved from intimacy with me, the heavier life became inside you. Because no amount of worldly comfort can replace my presence. I created your soul for communion with me, not for endless distraction. I spoke through dreams you ignored after waking up. I placed warnings inside your spirit that you brushed aside because they made you uncomfortable. I sent people into your life who spoke truth to you, but pride caused you to resist their words. I allowed certain situations to expose what was secretly growing inside your heart. Jealousy, fear, lust, anger, pride, unforgiveness, selfishness, emotional dependence. I revealed these things not to shame you, but to heal you. Yet instead of surrendering them to me, you defended them. You protected wounds that I was trying to heal because pain had become familiar to you. My beloved child, there were moments when my presence came close to you so strongly that you almost surrendered completely. You felt it during certain prayers, during certain during moments when your heart suddenly softened and tears began falling without explanation. Over holy moments, heaven was touching your spirit. I was calling you deeper. But each time conviction began pulling you closer, fear stepped in and pulled you backward again. Fear of a change. Fear of losing certain people. Fear of giving up control. Fear of fully trusting me. You kept standing between surrender and comfort. wanting peace while refusing to release the very things destroying it. I watched you pretend to be okay while quietly breaking inside. I watched you smile around others while your soul carried hidden battles nobody knew about. I watched you seek validation from people while starving for affirmation from me. You kept trying to fill spiritual emptiness with emotional substitutes. Attention, relationship, success, entertainment, temporary pleasure. But every substitute eventually left you emptier because none of those things were designed to carry the weight of your soul. Do you remember how many times you promised me you would change? After the heartbreak, after the panic attack, after the disappointment, after the fear, after the failure, you cried out to me in desperation and said, "Lord, if you help me through this, I will finally surrender completely." And I answered you. I comforted you. I protected you. I carried you through situations that should have destroyed you. But once the pressure lifted, distraction slowly returned and your promises faded again. Yet even after that, I still kept reaching for you. My child, understand this carefully now. Conviction is a gift. The fact that your heart still feels disturbed hearing these words is mercy. Many people no longer feel anything when truth confronts them because they ignored my voice for too long. Their hearts became numb little by little. That numbness did not happen overnight. It happened through repeated compromise, repeated delay, repeated disobedience. Every time they ignored conviction, their sensitivity weakened more. And now some sit in darkness believing they are fine because they no longer recognize how far they drifted. I do not want that to become your story. That is why I interrupted your life again today. Because despite everything, despite your delays, despite your distractions, despite your inconsistency, despite the walls you built around your heart, I still see who you were created to become. I still see purpose buried underneath your exhaustion. I still see light underneath your confusion. I still see the calling that darkness had been trying to suffocate for years. The enemy fought you intensely because your future threatens his kingdom more than you realize. And many of the battles you thought were random were actually attempts to keep you spiritually distracted before you fully awaken to who you truly are in me. But listen carefully now, my beloved child, because this is where the seriousness increases. My warnings are not endless. My voice is not something to casually assume forever. There comes a moment when repeated resistance changes the condition of a person's heart. The more someone ignores me, the easier it becomes to continue ignoring me. The more someone chooses distraction over intimacy, the weaker their spiritual sensitivity becomes. Eventually, people stop recognizing my voice clearly altogether. That silence is terrifying, not because I stop existing, but because they stop listening. And I am telling you this now because you have been standing dangerously close to that place. You felt it yourself lately. Prayer became harder. Conviction became easier to ignore. Distractions gained stronger control over your attention. Sin stopped bothering you the way it once did. You started normalizing things that once disturbed your spirit deeply. These are warning signs, my child. Your soul has been sending signals that something is wrong, but you kept trying to silence those signals instead of surrendering to me completely. Still, I have not abandoned you. The fact that you are hearing these words right now is proof that heaven is still fighting for your heart. I brought you here intentionally because this moment matters more than you understand. I need you to stop looking at your life through surface-level understanding and recognize the deeper spiritual reality happening around you. Nothing about your recent restlessness has been random. Nothing about your emotional heaviness has been accidental. I have been pulling on your spirit repeatedly because I know what is ahead if you continue drifting without returning fully to me. So please hear me now, my beloved child. Stop calling my warnings coincidence. Stop dismissing conviction as emotion. Stop silencing the discomfort in your spirit with endless distraction. I have been speaking continuously through every season of your life. Through heartbreaks, through delays, through tears, through warnings, through dreams, through closed doors, through exhaustion, through moments when your soul suddenly felt overwhelmed without explanation. I have never stopped reaching for you. But this moment is different. Because this is no longer just an invitation. This is a wake-up call before the silence becomes dangerous. My beloved child, listen carefully to me now, because what I am about to say may shake something deep inside your spirit. I am no longer pleading with you the way I once did. I am no longer whispering gently while you continue pretending not to hear me. I have warned you, reached for you, protected you, and called your name through more seasons than you realize. I have stood beside you while you wandered into places that slowly drained the life from your soul. I have watched you choose temporary comfort over eternal peace again and again. Yet even after all of that, I remain patient with you because my love is greater than your failures. But do not misunderstand my patience. Do not mistake my mercy for weakness. And do not confuse my kindness with endless tolerance. Many people believe that because I do not immediately judge them, I approve of the direction they are walking. They continue ignoring conviction while assuming there will always be another opportunity to return later. They believe my silence during certain seasons means I am unconcerned about their choices. But my child, there is a dangerous misunderstanding growing in many hearts. Mercy was never meant to become permission for rebellion. Grace was never designed to encourage disobedience. My patience exists to lead souls back to me, not to give them confidence to continue drifting further away. You must understand something very important now. Every time I warned you, and you ignored me, something slowly changed inside your heart. Every time conviction touched your spirit and you resisted it, your sensitivity weakened a little more. Every time you justified compromise instead of surrendering it, your discernment became slightly duller. This is how hearts grow hard over time. Not suddenly, not in one moment, but little by little through repeated resistance. One ignored warning becomes easier to ignore the next time. One compromise opens the door for another compromise. One delayed act of obedience creates a pattern of spiritual hesitation. Until eventually, many people wake up one day unable to clearly recognize my voice anymore. That is the silence I have been warning you about. My child, I need you to hear me with complete honesty now. You have spent too much time assuming your heart would always remain soft toward me no matter how long you delayed surrender. But hearts do not stay tender automatically. The heart must remain close to me to stay spiritually alive. Distance changes people. Repeated compromise changes people. Constant distraction changes people. Sin changes people. Pride changes people. Fear changes people. And if these things remain long enough without repentance, they begin reshaping the soul itself. I have watched this happen in many lives. People who once cried during prayer eventually became unmoved by truth. People who once felt deep conviction eventually learned how to silence it quickly. People who once desired holiness slowly became comfortable with darkness because repeated disobedience normalized what once disturbed them. At first, compromise feels uncomfortable, but over time, the heart adapts to what it repeatedly entertains. This is why I kept warning you, because I could already see where your path would eventually lead if nothing changed. You wondered why your spirit felt restless lately. It is because part of you still recognizes my voice while another part of you keeps resisting it. There is a war happening inside you between surrender and self-will, between obedience and comfort, between truth and excuses. And the longer this battle continues without full surrender, the more exhausting life becomes inside your soul. Because no person can experience true peace while continuously fighting against my conviction. Type "My foundation is Christ alone" if He's the rock you build on. And share this video.